But here we go now. Both players ready. Runes of Ceres is loading up. And here we are, spawning in the top right. We have our yellow Terran. It is Beastie Cutie.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have our teal Protoss player, Pox. Pox is now down a game. Some players will say, I'm going to stick to my plan, but there are definitely those players who will pull out something cheeky to try to come back. So we'll see if Pox tries to do anything funny this game.
Yeah, I'm pretty curious too. There's a lot of potential for some funny stuff on this map, especially in these spawning positions. They're relatively close to each other.
Yeah, I would say these spawning positions are actually pretty good for Pox because as opposed to top left versus bottom right, the drops are leaving Beastie Cutie's base, and it's a bit harder for them to avoid detection as they're headed towards Pox's base. So he might be able to get a bit more warning on them before they get there.
And one more interesting note, Beastie Cutie will probably have to take the third base that is closer to his main instead of the one that's more in Pox's direction, because you don't really want to expand towards your opponent. Which means that he's going to be pretty vulnerable to blink play.
Yep. Poor Beastie Cutie scouted in the wrong direction. Pox scouted in the right direction. But Beastie Cutie is a smart player. As soon as he sees that probe come into his base, he actually turns it around. He says, I know you're in the top left. You can't fool me.
Hjax looks like he also wants to deny this command center a little bit, being very annoying there.
Yeah, okay, I was about to say, there's no reason why a Terran player, if they're getting blocked, can't just build it one hex to the left or something, because you just lift it and move it later. It's not a big deal. It's not like if you pylon block a Zerg, they can't build the hatch next to the pylon. But a Terran, no big deal. And oh my goodness, we are seeing a very interesting sort of cheeky play out of Pox right now. He has 3 Nexuses. It's 2 minutes.
That's very fast. That's a very fast third Nexus.
And Beastie Cutie has seen it too, so he will be able to see if he can have something to say about that, because this is extremely greedy. Like, he definitely is in danger of dying if some big push or something were to come along, because investing an extra 400 minerals that early is a big deal.
And you know, Beastie Cutie, he's going to get a read on this pretty fast. If these Marines, you know, catch wind of this, I am pretty certain that Beastie Cutie is going to have none of it.
Yeah, his SCV actually ran by it. He did get vision of it, so he knows. He has a factory right now, and he can make Marines 2 at a time off of his barracks, and he's switching it over, so now he only has 1 Marine at a time. So he doesn't actually have enough units to do anything to this third yet, but we'll see if he can like come up with something in the future.
Yeah, and it's still going to take Pox a while to really take full advantage of this quick third base. I mean, he is getting a Twilight Council now. I have no doubt that we'll see Blink. I mean, Stalkers are being chronoed out. Blink is pretty strong on this map to begin with. And even if you're not being aggressive with it, defensive Blink is pretty strong. But Beastie Cutie, you know, he knows this third base is here. I think he's going to really start working at punishing it as soon as he can.
Yeah, he actually is building Hellions right now, which is a pretty non-standard play for the most part. I think he's looking to capitalize on the lack of units that Pox is going to have, so he can see if he can pick up some workers and even the playing field a bit.
Blink is now being chronoed out. We do have a Robo as well for Pox. Looks very similar to the last game. We saw that quicker Blink. We did see that Robo. However, one thing that's obviously not similar is that quicker third. And you know, if Pox can get away with it for much longer, it might look pretty good for him.
Yep, he has Blink. It's about halfway done. He's going up to 3 gates and a Robo, and he's just going to look to fight off whatever comes his way. But there are 6 Hellions moving out of Beastie Cutie's natural right now.
Yeah, that's not going to be easy to deal with, especially if you look at the natural. There's 1 pylon, and it's way up front. There's nothing near the mineral lines, so these Hellions could go, you know, absolutely crazy back here.
Ooh!
Oh, but this drop!
Oh! So only one Marine gets out and it dies immediately, so these Hellions have to make up for that. And they move into the natural where there's actually full saturation, so he could get a lot of probes here.
Yeah, these Hellions, I like Pox's, split here, making it really tough for the Hellions to get a lot of damage done as fast as possible, but still, 15 probes lost, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's still a lot of damage.
Yep, that actually evened up the worker count completely. It's 42 to 44 workers right now, and 2 just popped out, so it was pretty even.
Yeah, that was not at all easy on Pox. Pox now again going for that Adept upgrade. He is getting Resonating Glaives for his Adepts, but, he is a lot further behind now. He's got to remake nearly all of those probes at his natural. He still has that third base, though. That is, that could have been lethal if he did not have that third base.
Oh yeah, definitely. And right now, Beastie Cutie, he doesn't actually have a third command center. So it looks like he's going to try to keep piling on the pressure.
Yeah, the Hellions, again, running into the third base, are able to take out 7 probes. So still pretty good.
Oh yeah, definitely. And he just needs to keep doing damage, right? Because he doesn't have a third, but as long as he doesn't let Pox kind of run away with it, he's still very much in this game.
Yeah, Pox looking pretty good here. As is Beastie Cutie, as you said, even though he's on 2 bases, he can do a lot of damage to really keep Pox at the same level. We do have a Warp Prism being chronoed out. Ghost Academy has finished for Beastie Cutie. Interesting choice there. Ghost, though, pretty strong versus Protoss. 2 Ghosts coming out now.
Yep, Stim's done. Combat Shields is on the way, and he's kind of building a big ball of bio right now.
Yeah, this is looking pretty scary. I mean, it's 7:21. There is no third yet. I'm pretty sure that Beastie Cutie just wants to end this as soon as possible, so he is really prioritizing army above anything else. But Pox is moving out too.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a great idea from Pox. He probably thinks his opponent has a third, but in fact he does not, and instead he has a scary army.
Beastie Cutie looking like he's getting in a pretty nice position here. Only 2 medevacs though, and we know that Pox does a pretty good job at picking those off, so you can tell he's really pulling those back to make sure they stay safe. Beastie Cutie looks like he wants to move forward. More army goes to join, and so do SCV is. This is looking like a pretty serious attack here from our Terran player.
Yeah, these ghosts, if they land EMPs, Sentry Energy gone, and half the HP on all of these units will be gone. So he definitely can't let that happen. And the ghosts come in and land the EMPs.
Yeah, that Sentry Energy now completely gone. Shields are just decimated. Beastie Cutie just completely moves forward. These Stalkers really falling quick. The pylons get picked off fast too.
If 3 overcharges are dropped, but it's not enough. The probes are trying to evacuate, but they're getting picked off. But there are Adepts right now in Beastie Cutie's base, so he's pretty all in. It's 27 SCVs right now to 57 probes, but the Protoss's army is kind of spread out all over the place.
Yeah, the Pox is doing a really good job with the harass behind this, but there's a little bit more returning home for Beastie Cutie to help defend against it. And now Pox, he's in a pretty tough spot.
His supply is still surprisingly high, but it's also because he is doubling his opponent's worker count right now. Beastie Cutie fended off the Adepts at his base, and he still has a big bio ball sharking around on Pox's side of the map.
Yeah, it looks like the Ghosts, though, all cleaned up here. The Ghosts would have been really nice against those Immortals.
Yeah, he's got 2 Immortals out, and he has a lot of Adepts, so this army is very beefy. And it definitely can trade against this kind of medium-sized ball of bio.
Yeah, especially considering that the Adepts do have Resonating Glaives. Looks like the rest of the army, though, starting to join here for Beastie Cutie. You can tell by the lack of of third base here that he just wants to end this, and he wants to end it now.
Yep, he is pushing out with all of his might. So far, Pox hasn't taken his third yet. So both of them are putting their money into units. And this army is about to move up. He has a ghost again. It does not have an EMP ready.
Looks like the armies will trade though. Fade the adepts fading to try and get a nice position on this army. Will get that position. Nice liftoff though for Beastie Cutie. Does lose his ghost, but moves right into the main base. And right now, Pox is again pretty out of position. After all, he was just by his third base.
The Mothership Core comes in and casts an overcharge, but that pylon is picked off relatively quickly, and the army's
and
kinda...
this pylon, it's gonna unpower 6 of those gateways.
Yep, he gets another 13 probes, loads up, and tries to get out. He's a little bit trapped now. I think he can kind of squeeze around the top side, but he has to be careful not to lose his entire army.
Yeah, and this is still a pretty close game. Supplies are pretty even. Army supplies favoring Beastie Cutie and worker supplies favoring Pox, but it still could be anyone's game.
Yep, Beastie Cutie is just getting out the empty medevacs. He's leaving the ones that have units in them to continue to put pressure on.
Looks like they will go into the main base. The gateways again repowered.
Not for long if Beastie Cutie has anything to say about it.
Yeah, no kidding. We do have 2 more ghosts in production for Beastie Cutie. Looks like another... We might have a multi-pronged attack here soon.
Yeah, Beastie Cutie, he just doesn't want to take a third. He's refusing. He says, no, I will not take a third. I will try to kill my opponent at all costs. And Pox is long-distance mining from where his third used to be. He's really hurting for money right now, and he can't even build a third Nexus.
Yeah, he is making Archons now, though, and Archons are the AoE that he could definitely need here. I mean, the Ghosts could have something to say about that, but if the Archons stay away from them, you know, these Archons could just be so much trouble for Beastie Cutie.
Yep. Archons are the solution to a fairly common problem. I don't have minerals, but I have gas. And unfortunately for Beastie Cutie, Terran doesn't really have a solution to that problem. They end up just kind of floating a bunch of gas. And therefore it's really important for the Terran to have enough minerals, because they can't just say, well, I'll warp in 6 High Templars and I'll be fine.
Yeah. And now, Beastie Cutie, you know, he sees a little bit of his opponent's army, but I think with these Archons, it's getting pretty scary. And these Immortals, and, you know, the Adepts are upgraded. A nice EMP there, though, does take the shields off the Immortals, but there's just so many Archons, there's so much AoE here. Yep,
the Adepts are shading in from the side, and the Archons are doing plenty of damage, but the Bio's holding on really well.
The Bio.
Pushing back the Stalkers, this might be enough to break Pox because of all the medevacs.
Looks like GG. That was so tough to see there. At first, there were some really nice EMPs, though. And GG, well played.
That was very, very close.
Yes, it was. Even in that final engagement, it was still, you know, when it first started, it was hard to tell whose game it was. But GG. Looks like we're going to get our next series up shortly, but while we do that, we are going to take a quick break, so stick with us, and we'll be right back.